Okay, guys, I have a ton of notes and I have just been super inspired this week. Um, for everyone on the replay, I know this is such a weird week, especially the week between Christmas and New Year's. So I have been extraordinarily inspired because I've not had my kids, and it's like I'm like, wow, so this is like what life is like for single people with no kids. Like there should be no excuses. So all my excuses are gone. And I have been just hitting the gym super hard, got some energy back. I have to say I've gotten a little bit of body dysmorphia, and I'm trying to settle into my new body because it was such an extreme for the show. And then I'm trying to get that back. I'm trying to get my cycle back. I'm enjoying holiday food, and then I'm not enjoying holiday food because I get sick. And that is the first time I have ever gotten really like sick. It's either that or there's a bug that's going around. I did try that Fit Bake. That Fit Bake was amazing. I have a poor tolerance or a low tolerance to erythritol, which is like a sugar alcohol replacement of like sugar. And it's in the frosting. It's, I think, in the brownie mix and the frosting. And so I ate it, and usually my reaction is right after I eat it. But this time, and I'm not sure if this was it still, but this time I had a reaction hours later, and I was not feeling good. It was in the middle of the night. I started getting really nauseous, and it just came upon me super fast. So if you know you have a low tolerance or no tolerance to erythritol, the Fit Bake may not be a good idea, but a lot of people do not have that reaction. I also probably ate more than I should have of the brownie with the frosting. So that's a lesson learned. But those are my wins. My wins, I just feel like I'm able to get a lot of focus, and it's not been the most comfortable week. I've had some anxiety. I've had just kind of like a feeling of a little bit lost. I have children all the time. And now that I don't, I'm really left with myself. And if you've ever had that feeling, if you've ever had the privilege of being left alone, which it's very rare for me, you get you get exposed. Your thoughts, your excuses are gone. You don't get distracted by another human being. And even my clients, it's a very light week. This week's always a light week for many reasons. Obviously, this is going to be hitting most of you on the replay. So I feel like it's really beneficial to be kind of left with yourself, and to get a little uncomfortable really helps you dial in more and more. What is it that I'm putting off? What am I using excuses to get out of? And so I consider this a win. I consider those discoveries and those realizations a huge win. And I've been doing the Change Your Schedule, Change Your Life book. And I just initiated things right away. I'm not through the entire book, but the little things that I knew I could do are getting up at the same time frame between 5 and 6 a.m. and going to bed in the same time frame. So I choose between 9 and 10:30. And just sometimes I'm falling asleep at 7, and I'm like, oh no, Leah, you don't want to get on that habit. But I think it's because it's getting dark out really early. But there are little tricks and tools and things that you can do that will make a huge difference. So I've been dealing a little bit with the holiday blues as well. If you've got a little bit of that, I can relate. Just taking down the decorations in the house, and it's just not as warm and inviting, and there's not all this lighting, this beautiful lighting in my house all the time. I realize how plain my house kind of seems, but I'm a minimalist, so I don't really have a ton of stuff. I don't just clutter. I don't have a bunch of stuff everywhere. And I kind of like that. I like clean look. Obviously I have a Tesla. It's like, it's just a screen and that's it. There's no other utilitarian things on there. So I like kind of very clean. It helps keep my mind clear. I'm not distracted a whole lot by it. So I'm dealing a little bit with that, which is really exposing. I used to really pride myself on doing well alone, liking to be alone. And I still do. I still really do. It's just, it's a lot calmer. There's a lot more peace. I don't have to, there's just less stress, but then there was like stress in a different way. But all in all, very good learning experience for me. I'm learning a lot about myself. Just to be left alone with yourself is a very big privilege that I intend to keep very good notes on myself, journaling. If you haven't started or you've been journaling and you've stopped and then you need to get back into it, I'm getting back into it. There are great things, and I wish I had it near me. There are great things at Barnes and Noble that you can get that just kind of help initiate the journaling. And it's like a 5-year, every single day it asks you a question. You just put in the year and then you answer the question. And over the years, it's really, and I'm sure, interesting. I just got through the first year and some pages are blank. Sometimes I didn't get to it. Over the years, you'll see how you changed and how life changed for you, asking you these big questions. That is a great option. If you want to get into doing something like that, please go to Barnes and Noble. It's like $18 to get that 5-year journal, question journal. So I'm starting to create new habits, and the sleep part is very integral when it comes to your weight loss. And some of you aren't on a weight loss journey. Some of you are on a grow more muscle journey. It still is imperative that you get proper sleep. So it is in that book, you want to understand that between the hours of 5 and 6 a.m. is really the circadian rhythm of your natural body's desire to get up. And it is oftentimes easier to get up in that hour frame than it is at 7:30 or 8 o'clock or even 9. Oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine being in bed still at 9 at this point. I feel like I'm getting choked. So very good information. Going to bed and being asleep, two different things. 10 to 10:30, getting to sleep between 10 and 10:30. Your body heals between the hours of 10 and 2. And there's different phases of your sleep that are beneficial to different parts of your body. And also I thought was really interesting, and I'm pretty sure all my meal plans for you guys, the last meal is a 6 o'clock meal. There might be a small snack after that, but that's when they recommend you also stop eating because your digestive fire is like starting to get low and almost out. That's not when our digestion is at its highest. Actually, it is like more around the noon to 2 in that area. It should be like your biggest meal, which I often have that written for you guys. Working out in the morning is also a huge recommendation. I've been doing that. I've not always been able to do it, but I've been primarily doing that 90% of the time. So that's really good. Also, by the way, if you're listening to this today, I am going to be doing a live workout tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. I know it's 6 a.m. crazy, right? But it is so important to get into a routine. And if this is an hour that just it's just like there's so much resistance to getting up and being up at that hour, that might be a sign that you need to try it and see how your body responds. We can't expect to do the same thing over and over and get a different result. We just can't. So if you're feeling stuck, if you feel like, I feel like I've just kind of hit a wall or hit a plateau or whatever the case may be for you, or if you just started, this is a great time to get yourself into the habit. So our habits, you make the habit and then your habits will make you. I'm going to totally do a post on that because that was such an eye-opening thing for me to hear. First, you make the habits, and then the habits will make you. You do all the things. It's truly trusting the process and knowing that this process is going to bode results and deliver the things that you are truly wanting to do. But you've got to be open to changing some things and getting out of your comfort zone. I wrote down such random, and I even printed it out because I wanted to remember all of this. I just get little inspirations and downloads, and I just make a note in my phone, sometimes a voice memo. Sometimes I just put it in my notes. But I was working out this morning. I had a 6 a.m. client, and we have off this week. She's got off, I've got off, and we could do later. But she was like, no, let's just keep 6. Cause I said, do you need to do 6? Do you want to do 7? And she's like, I just want to stay into my routine. It'll help keep me consistent. And I loved that about her. She just really has dialed it up a notch even more. I've been training her for nearly 2 years, I think now. She's a one-on-one. And Angela, you probably know I'm talking about you. So I loved that, that she's really dialing things in, getting up, even though she doesn't have to. Busy lady, like travels all the time. We had plans to even do some other stuff together, and she got called in on a day off. I mean, she's just so busy and travel. So she means business, and her why is very, very big. And most of the time when you're getting up at that 6 a.m. hour, more like 5 a.m. because you got to get there at 6, you are a very busy person and you get more done. You just do. When you're busier, you get more done. And when you have all of these options, you just kick that can down the road and keep kicking it. That's not going to reap any benefits for you. And it's just going to keep this vicious cycle of doing a little and then not being on pattern and not getting results, getting frustrated, not getting traction, and then giving up. And then there's just this cycle of that. Well, I tried this didn't work. I tried that didn't work. Most of the time, and I don't know if I'd say most of the time, sometimes I'm just like, go after it. I love my workouts, but a lot of the time, I don't want to continue doing my workout. It takes me about halfway through my workout for me to be like, yes, I love this. This is really good. But a lot of the time I'm like in my first set or my first superset. I was just doing deadlifts and a low row today. And I'm like, I know I'm in the beginnings of this and I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. But there was not an option because I created a habit. And I was training, and I'm trained. Think of that word and what that means. Trained, doing the same thing over and over so that you can consistently get the desired results. What would that? Trained. I'm really curious what that is. The actual definition. Trained definition. Having been taught a particular skill or type of behavior through practice and instruction over a period of time. Having been developed and improved through instruction or practice. Practice. So I'm not going to be able to continue to grow if I don't train myself. And train is such it's homophone, but it means so many different things. And I just know that doing the same thing over and over to get the desired results that I know will build that is training myself, is creating the habits that are going to create me and what I want. So, it's moving through that resistance as smoothly as possible. And resistance is a sign to us that there's change happening. So because I was like, I was feeling this resistance, whether it be mentally, emotionally, physically, for sure, was feeling resistance. I felt super strong today though, too. So I'm like, wow, these weights feel lighter to me today. What's that about? I don't know. It could be the sleep pattern that I'm getting myself into. It could be the food that I'm starting to get on a more regular basis, higher caloric intake. It could, some days you just feel stronger than others, and some days you don't. The days you feel stronger, absolutely run with it. Go higher in weight. Don't skimp on going up in weight. Like, really push it. And that's something that I really felt laid on my heart to talk about today, was training. You know, we really focus a lot on the meal planning and the prepping and the getting the food there. And then once you get there, it just becomes routine. It just becomes what you do. When it comes to training, depending on what you're wanting, which I think most of us, all of us, want to grow muscle and want to get a beautiful shape in our shoulders, a smaller waist, a better booty, some definition. We call it toned. Toned is something that is like, you've got to have muscle underneath the body fat, so that when we drop the body fat, that there is that shape under you. And that is what we consider toned. We see the tone. Everybody has tone, but we want bigger tone, more of that. And so when you've got an extra wind in you, I am telling you, push yourself to the absolute brink. I put weights on more than I even thought I would, and it just kept feeling light and light and light until I got to a point where I'm like, surely I can't do this. I mean, I felt like I was like She-Ra or something today. You know, and I'm just like, I'm just going to go with it. I'm not going to analyze it. I'm not going to question it. I'm going to embrace it and enjoy this, because I don't feel like this every single day. And I just went with it. And that resistance that I felt finally as I went up in weights is a sign that I made something happen. Change happened. You just have to know that when there's resistance and it's pushing against you, that's the sign changes is occurring. So that's what you want to chase. That's what you want to go after in training. If you're training and you're just kind of going through the motions and you're like, just crush that workout, you're not doing it right. You've got to get intense. You've got to get serious about how hard you go. Don't be scared to get heavier in weight as long as your form is right. Don't be timid or shy about it. And if you fail, great. That's what we're wanting. We want you to get to failure. So it is not about getting to that number 12 or whatever rep range that I've given you. It is about getting to a certain place of getting to that failure and then doing 3 more. So you have to pick a weight that is going to allow you to get to failure and then push past that failure. That's when the change is going to happen. If you stop right when that failure happens, like, oh, that's too heavy, I can't lift it. Guess what? You're not going to grow muscle. You're not going to get stronger. There's not going to be any change. The change happens when you push past the ability or not ability, like you weave in and out of that can and I can't, can and I can't. And it's going to be a little ugly. It's going to be a little sloppy. It's okay. Half reps count. I always tell my one-on-one persons, half reps count. I want to see that struggle. I want to see that failure. And if something's heavy, that's like, I'm like, yeah, what's the point? What's your point? It's heavy. We know, because you're strong. And we have to put a heavy weight on there for us to trigger change. So I just challenge you to get yourself into a different mental place when you're in training, to really push the limit, push it. Like it's your last workout. You're not going, don't think you have to hold back because you've got a big day that day, or you've got a big thing at the end of the week and we have this limited amount of energy. That's not true. The harder we push, the stronger we get, the more energy we get. It's like the opposite. So I don't want you to preserve your energy. I want you to spend it all, because guess what happens? We then put fuel in our body and then we get more energy. That's the fuel. It's not like we're given this quota of stuff that we're only allowed in a day. The energy is from our food that we give ourselves. So it's just constantly going and it's spending it and eating it, spending it and eating it. That's the process. We want to get into that process. So embrace that. Embrace the failure, because it can be uncomfortable, but it is your sign. that something good's happening. Something good's very, very good is happening. Um, Another great piece of accountability is like a Fitbit or Apple Watch. I have an Apple Watch. You can actually become friends with somebody on it. So a lot of my clients who have the Apple Watch, we become like friends on the app, and then I can see when they log their workouts, which is great because they know I'm getting that. And it's kind of like they want to hit that done button and they want me to see that they got that workout in, and it shows me what they did. It shows me how many calories they burned and for how long that they did the workout for. And it gives me an opportunity to hit reply, and then I can give them a thumbs up, a heart emoji, or something that just encourages them, recognizes that, hey, you did a good job. That is awesome. I'm so glad you killed it. Like, this is awesome. And it inspires me. You know, there's just everything that you guys do also just fuels me in continuing to walk my journey and to continue to pursue that. So if you DM me, however you want to communicate with me, if you have an Apple Watch, I'd love to become friends with you on the app. And then you'll be able to see when I work out and what I do. And we can hit challenges. We can do things that really push each other, badges. You get a lot of fun things. And that's just one way that you can really motivate yourself and have another piece of accountability that doesn't take extra time. It's just, I mean, you're doing it anyway. You have it on. Let's just hit the done button, and then we can get excited for each other. So I might post that in the group. That if everybody has an Apple Watch, to look me up and friend me on there so that we can encourage each other and support each other that way. What I also wanted to get into is a lot more of that self-love. And there was another piece of inspiration that I listened to today, or not that today, this week, and I wrote it down. And it was really a really great way of putting it. It was self-love is self-discipline. In fact, it was Will Smith, of all people. It was Will Smith who had, there was a little clip of him talking about how self-love is self-discipline. And I posted a little something about it this week also in on my personal profile. But you know, the discipline that we have is showing ourselves love. It is showing ourselves that we care about how we feel. So say we are looking at that brownie or that piece of cake or that ice cream that we want to have late at night that we know we probably should not be having because we're going to go right to bed, and there's all kinds of things that signify that is a bad idea. And we usually don't feel very good. We wake up sluggish. We've got this, we become insulin resistant. There's just all kinds of things that can be produced from that. And we say, you know, I'm not going to do that because I care about how I feel. And that's not going to make me feel very good, you know, and that self-discipline translated into being self-love. And I'll find the clip too, because it was so inspirational and so true that if we can look at our discipline as love and not saying no to ourselves, we're not saying no to ourselves, we're saying yes to ourselves. That discipline to remove the things that are not serving us, and loving ourselves at such a way that we can discipline ourselves getting in bed and going to bed at a certain time, waking up at a certain time, eating at a certain time. There's so many elements to just the eating. We wake up, we don't feel hungry, then we don't eat. It's like, well, we have to train our body to know it's going to get that so that it releases the chemical that tells us we're going to get food. And that, you know, there are hunger chemicals that are released. There's all kinds of things. You listen to that book. I'm actually going to pull together a lesson about that, because one of the biggest mistakes we make is not eating in the morning because we don't feel hungry, and then having our biggest meal at night, which it is the opposite of what we should be doing. And our digestive fire is at its best at the midday, noon to 2 range. And that's when we want to give it what we want the biggest meal of the day. So I loved that. And then I listened to another thing that said, there was this guy saying, I'm in the greatest relationship right now. And I am in a great relationship right now. There's love, respect, worthiness, admiration, patience, and that relationship is with me. And the way we love ourselves is a reflection on how we love other people. And being 40, almost 42, I can kind of look back at some relationships and some people that I was in a relationship with, and even how they took care of themselves and how I felt they were loving me. And it was very true. I could tell you the people that hurt me the most and abused me the most were the people who did not love themselves the most and were very insecure and didn't have a self-love and a discipline to take care of themselves first, and looked at things outside of themselves to make them feel love. Me particularly, children, jobs, coworkers, companies, just all kinds of things outside yourself. But it is that relationship that you have with you first and foremost that's going to lead all of the other relationships in your life. And that's what we're working on, is that relationship with ourselves. As some of you aren't mamas, but that's okay. You don't have to be a mama to be a giver. And if you give and you give and you give to other people, and then you got nothing left for yourself, that's backwards. We need to give to ourselves, and then it multiplies. It's not like it just gets bigger and bigger what we can give. And that's what's so cool, is not like, I'm going to give myself 10 minutes, therefore I'll give other people 10 minutes. It's like, you give yourself 10 minutes, that gives you hours and hours of the ability to give to other people and to feel like your cup is full. It's full because you filled it with the things that you know you need. And then you feel good about that. You don't feel neglected. And we're not going to blame other people for not doing something for us to make us feel cared for, because we already took care of that ourselves. So I really, really liked that self-care. I would like you to think about, I would like you to name 3 things of self-care that you've done for yourself over the last week, over the holiday. Because I know it's being with family. And I know there's so many things going on, and you want the Christmas to be great for the kids, and you want this to be great for the grandparents, and who knows if it's going to be their last. I don't know. I don't want to. You still have to take care of you in the midst of all that. And that's the practice, is taking care of you while there are other things pulling at you in extraordinary circumstances that don't happen every day and every week. I mean, Christmas is once a year, but importantly enough, there's always something. There's always a holiday. There's always an event. There's always sports with the kids, gymnastics with this and that and the other. And it's really is disciplining yourself and saying, I have gotten in the habit of giving myself this bubble bath every Wednesday night, and I'm not going to cancel on myself. And just looking forward to that, disciplining your time, other things around that is really important. And some people might kick back on that. Some people might be like, oh, well, we wanted to do this Wednesday night, and it is up to you. You can move it to a different time or move the time up, whatever the case may be, but don't ever put yourself on the back burner to give to other people. Be flexible, but still disciplined to know that your cup needs to be filled up first and foremost, so you feel taken care of. And it's no one else's responsibility but yours. So a couple of other tips also for our new gals. All of the workouts that you're going to get have a demo link to that move. Some of them are very short because they're very simple. Others are, and I had a conversation with one of you about this, you didn't want to be in the gym looking at a 2 to 3 minute video. What my recommendation is decide what your split's going to be. And I can help you do that. If you don't know, if you want to arrange it a certain way to be more conducive to you personally, then I will help you do that. And then plan that out. So say Monday, you're going to do an upper body day, or a chest and shoulder day. And then Tuesday, you're going to do a back and biceps day. And then Wednesday, you're going to do leg day. That's going to be more quad dominant. And all of these are going to be in your workout, so you'll know what they are. But I would preemptively look at the workout that you're about to go in and perform, and look at the videos before you get to the gym. Just preemptively look at that, so that you really do, when you look at what's written, overhead press, you know what that is without having to stop the momentum of your workout in the gym to watch a 2 or 3 minute video. So I just thought about that with one of the conversations that I had with one of you new ones, that that's what I used to do, because some of these workouts, I'm like, I don't even know what that is. And then I'd have to Google it, or I'd have to reach out to my coach, and she was with another client, so I didn't get a response right away. So I learned that I need to know what I'm doing before I even leave for the gym. And that's going to make it go smoother. You're going to get into a rhythm. You're going to get some momentum and traction in the gym, and you're not going to have all of those issues. So, and also I want to just, the reason I'm even doing the workout for tomorrow morning is because I wanted to show you what kind of intensity that you need to have consistently to be able to make progress in the gym, whether it's you're looking to drop pounds, you're looking to gain muscle, you're looking to get stronger. There's a lot of different goals we all have, but the intensity of your training is really important. And I even think I go intensely sometimes. And then I get into the gym with somebody else for partner up, and I'm like, wow, I thought I went hard. This person goes hard. And it inspires me to go harder and to know that I got more to give. So that's a big reason why I'm going to be doing this live for tomorrow morning, because I really just want you to just have a reference point of what that looks like. And if none of you make it, that's okay. It'll be there for the replay, and you can play that and work out with it at any time that's convenient for you in the day. So no worries on that. 6 o'clock is just when I get up. It's when I'm going to be doing this, and I'm just going to go live on the Facebook group to allow everybody to see what it is that I do and how hard I do it. And I have it all written out on my mirror and everything. I have the workout all planned out. It's going to be a very wide variety of moves. And what you're going to need is like anywhere between the 5 and 15 pound dumbbells. Bands will work, kettlebells will work, body weight will work. Okay. And I'll talk a little bit about, if you don't have weights, what you need to do with body weight. You just intensify things. You do pulses. You can add reps, get a bigger rep range. So there's all kinds of things that you can do. You do not need a fancy gym with a bunch of equipment to get something intensely. I already talked about coasting just keeps you where you are, which is fine. You know, coasting on some areas I can coast. There's some areas that I don't need to grow because I'm going for a certain look on stage. And so my shoulder days, I do not really push it a ton. I like to. And that's part of why I'm like, I went from bikini to fitness, is because I really like to pick heavy shit up and put it back down. And I like to just keep growing and getting stronger and stronger. And I have a goal. Like if I got this, I got overhead, single arm overhead press. And I do that a lot because I work on strength, and I do 8 of those. And I want to start with a heavier weight this next workout, because I started with a 20. Okay, I want to start with a 25, and then I'll move myself up to 45 or whatever it may be. It's just a fun, challenging thing for me, and I enjoy the process. Some of you may not be built like that, and you want to get it in. You want to get a little bit of a sweat going. You want to get your heart rate up and bring it back down, and just knock out, just get a good pump. That would be what I would consider coasting. And working on an area where you're not going to see much change. You're just going to maintain and coast what you have. And that's fine. But the intensity you need to get progress, you need to double that. triple that intensity so that you can push yourself, like I said, past the point of ability to failure. And I have found in my years of training people one-on-one who maybe have had a little bit of experience working out in the gym and weight training, that they really didn't, they thought they were working out hard. And then they get into the gym with me and I train them and I get them past the mind block that they have, like, oh my gosh, I can't do that weight. And I'm like, who says? Either way, you're right. If you say you can't, you're right. You can't. If you say you can, you will. Either way, you're right. Your mind has to go there first before your body will follow. So a lot of what I work on with people in the gym is yes, physical, but it is really the mental and the mental talk, self-talk we give each other. If we're about to go do a move and we pick up a weight and it feels heavy, we put it back down. Oh, no, that's too heavy. That's too heavy. And it's like, well, how do you know? How do you know that that's too heavy? Did you try it? And if you try it, see how many you get. It's just, I tell everybody it's one big experiment. Just don't make a judgment before you actually fully tried that weight and then tried it even again. It's not about crushing your workout. It's really about your workout kind of crushing you. And I'll walk out of the gym a lot of the time, just like hobbling and wobbling and be like, oh my gosh. And I'm not thinking to myself, oh man, how am I going to get through the rest of my day? I get through my day just fine. I give myself my post-protein workout, my post-workout protein shake. I always confuse those words. I give myself that. I give myself my post-workout carbs, and my body responds. And I get more energy because I gave it fuel. And that's how it works. We're not in a limited number of energy cubes, if you will. So just know that this is a growing process, and it's not about being perfect. It's about always getting progress and doing better than the day before. And you do that and you show up as big as you can every single day, it will happen for you. And it's like layering that tissue paper, 1, 2, 3 layers. We can't look at that and say, I know how many layers of tissue paper is there. But if you showed me a stack of tissue paper, knowing how thin they are, I could probably guess how many at the end of a bunch, but we can't after 2 or 3 or 4. So I look at that as like we're layering our tissue paper of tissue of our muscle on each other, and it is going to matter. And those check-in progress pics are huge when it comes to that. And don't worry, I will not post anything that I do not talk to anybody about first. And I know how some of y'all feel about pictures being posted, but I'm telling you what, they're great reference for you in so many ways. So please do not bail on those check-ins because they are super valuable. I don't necessarily like check-ins either. I do not like getting up in the morning and doing my whole posing and all of that stuff. You guys don't even have to pose it. It's just stand there and take a picture and do a profile and then do a back shot. That's all I ask. And over time, I log everything. I put all of your guys' photos into your own album. And when I get something every single week, it's been about 5 or 6 weeks, I'll go to that very first photo and I'll do a side by side for them. And you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I had that much change. You know why you don't notice it is because you got life going on. You've got kids and husband and partners and jobs and traveling and crises and all these things going on around you. And you're just, that's not what you're paying attention to. You may be doing the work and going into the gym and doing all these things, but out of sight, out of mind. You're not looking at yourself in the mirror 24/7. You're not taking the tape measure on yourself all the time. So we get in the gym consistently, an hour a day. An hour of activity a day is not insane. It's not insane. It's really not that much. And doing that over and over and over again, in 6 weeks, you're gonna look back and just be blown away and not realize, I mean, you're not going to be able to identify that until you see the side by side. So always, always, always do your progress pics and your check-ins. They're so eye-opening and it'll make you just have so much fire, so much momentum. You get a little bit of progress and then you tell yourself, okay, let's see how much I can get this week. And let's see if I can go double that progress this week. And it just keeps that forward momentum. I always tell people fail forward. You know, if we don't have progress one week, that doesn't mean there wasn't progress. Okay, that does not mean that. So we're going to fail forward. We're going to keep trudging along, and this is how it's done. I wish I could say there was a magic pill or there was a magic drink or something that you could take. And I'm sure there's things out there that you could do and take, but are they sustainable and are they something that you're going to do consistently? This is a lifestyle that we're learning to live, and we want to incorporate this in with what we already have with our families, our jobs, our hobbies, the things we love to do, travel, and be able to blend those two things and still keep great results and not be on this yo-yo roller coaster of gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight, losing weight. It's not healthy for you. It's not good for your heart. It's not good for your internal organs. It's not good for your system, your gut, all of the things we need to synergistically work together. And this is a holistic approach that we're talking about. So doing the work, you will see the progress, you will see the results. And I just really encourage everyone, you know, if you have an extra fire, like I kind of do just with this new turn of the year happening, man, use that, leverage that and get some focus. This is your time. If you're on vacation, I know a couple of you are, take some time in the morning to write down really what it is and get a game plan of what it is that you want to achieve this coming year. This is another year. We are getting further and further away from this coronavirus pandemic bullshit. And we're done letting it control our lives. And I say we have to take that control back. And this is how you do it. You start with you. You start here. And then the rest will fall into place the way that it needs to. So I'm going to go ahead and post this. So I hope you all have an amazing New Year's Eve and ring in the new year. I personally will be in bed. I will see everybody tomorrow morning, bright and early. Bye, guys.